Hallo liebe Freunde und Zuschauer und willkommen zurück bei German for English Speakers. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some Easter words because, well, Ostern steht fast vor der Tür, nicht wahr? Easter is almost upon us, or as we say in German, Easter is almost standing at the door. Seems a bit odd once I translate it into English, but that is what is said in German. So let's take a look at our Easter words. Little warning, as I'm talking about Easter in the European sense, there will be words of a religious nature. If you're uncomfortable with that, this might not be the best video for you. But let's begin. Possibly the most important, das Osterei. Das Osterei, the Easter egg. And if we want to make it plural, we stick ER on the end, die Ostereier. Then, of course, naturally, we have die Ostereierjagd. Die Ostereierjagd, the Easter egg hunt. And to make it plural, we put an EN on the end of Jagd. So, jagen. Die Ostereier jagen. Gut. Hier ist der Osterhase, the Easter bunny. It is possible to make this plural and say Easter bunnies, but we all know there's only one Easter bunny. So, der Osterhase. Genau. Ja, also im Frühling, da gibt es auch sehr viele neue Blumen und Babytiere, die laufen herum. Und eine meiner Lieblingsblumen ist die Osterglocke. In English, we call it, of course, the daffodil, but in German, it's known as the Easter bell, this flower. And of course, we can make it plural, die Osterglocken, with an N on the end. Yeah, der Frühling, so spring or springtime, der Frühling. It is possible to make Frühling plural, but again, it's difficult to think of a context. We might say spring each year, spring times. I don't know. We can make it plural. Technically, it's possible to say der Frühlinge. Die Frühlinge. But I can't think of a good example of when you would actually use the plural form of Frühling. Ah, die Schokolade, natürlich. Jeder isst Schokolade am Osterfest, nicht wahr? Chocolate. And it can be made plural as well, die Schokoladen. If you make it plural, then in German, just like in English, instead of talking about like a slab of chocolate, it means you're talking about individual chocolates. Like Prolla. Und das Karfreitagsbrötchen. Karfreitagsbrötchen. This is, in English, we know it as a hot cross bun. I'm not sure if hot cross buns are eaten in America for Easter. Someone will have to let me know. If you're from the US, do you eat hot cross buns at Easter? The plural is the same. There's no change to make the word plural, so either das Karfreitagsbrötchen oder die Karfreitagsbrötchen. Und dann der Osterkorb. Der Osterkorb, the Easter basket. And we can make it plural by putting an umlaut on the O and an E on the end, so we get der Osterkörper. Die Osterkörper. Genau. Das Lamm, das ist eine die Babytiere, die ich vorher erwähnt habe. Das Lamm, same as in English, except our spelling's different, right? The lamb. To make it plural, we put an umlaut on the A and an ER on the end, and we get Dilemma. Dilemma. Das Küken. Das Küken. The chick. The word chick, Küken, also is the same whether it's plural or singular. So either das Küken for one or die Küken for more than one. Die Kirche, natürlich, of course, at Easter time. many people go to church services, because Easter is, it used to be a deeply religious holiday in Europe, and for some people it still is. For some people, it's taken on the kind of, we keep the fun without the religious side to it for a lot of people. So it's about bunnies and Easter eggs and that kind of thing. But as if you look at Western Europe, being founded on the basis of Christian principles, of course, one of the reasons why Easter was celebrated was due to the fact that the church was able to come in and take over a pagan festival that was already going on and apply Christian morality to that festival. So they were able to merge the festivals. That way they were able to get people to become Christians without giving up the festivals they were already celebrating. And that's why we have so much pagan imagery in Easter with like bunnies and eggs and that type of thing. But as I said, we can think of Easter nowadays certainly as a Christian holiday. Die Palme, the palm leaf, in plural, die Palmen, with an N on the end. This has some religious significance, which, if I remember correctly, and I probably don't, people laid palm leaves on the road that Jesus was going along. He was going into a city, I think, and the people put down the palm leaves on the road. And he was on a donkey? I don't know. I don't remember. Die Dornenkrone. Die Dornenkrone. Crown of thorns, obviously was placed on Jesus' head. Die Dornenkrone can be made plural with an N. Die Dornenkronen. Das Kreuz, again, arguably one of the biggest symbols of Easter, the cross, das Kreuz. There's also a plural version, die Kreuze, the crosses. And then this particular act of punishment, die Kreuzigung, crucifixion, die Kreuzigung. And it also can be made plural, die Kreuzigungen, with an en on the end. Die Kreuzigungen, crucifixions. Which leads us to die Wiedergeburt, which I suppose we can translate as reincarnation. Die Wiedergeburt. And this is the central idea to Easter, and especially what Easter used to mean for the Europeans before Christianity was sort of implanted on top of their celebrations. So they were celebrating this idea that everything comes back to life again after the long, dark winter. All the animals are having their babies, the flowers are coming up. So spring was the Wiedergeburt, Jahreszeit. It was the time of the year for reincarnation. There's also a plural version of this, die Wiedergeburten, reincarnations, plural. But when we're talking about Christianity, then we don't often use the word Wiedergeburt, but rather die Auferstehung. Die Auferstehung. Die Auferstehung means resurrection. So literally the standing up again, the once again standing up. So resurrection, rising. Also has a plural form, die Auferstehungen. Gut. Natürlich, das Christentum, Christianity. It would be possible to make this word plural if you were talking about perhaps different types of Christianity. You could say die Christentümer, but I'm not convinced that people do that. I think they usually talk about Christianity using the singular, and then maybe talk about different sects or varieties of Christianity. And the main man himself, Jesus Christus. in German, Jesus Christus. I have a couple of extra words. Oh, some of the words have been moved. I'm having, if you can't tell already, some slight technical problems with my PowerPoint. All the fonts have changed, and I don't know why. And I also can't get them back. So this is what we're working with. So Aschermittwoch is Ash Wednesday, Aschermittwoch. And that is the day when people, Roman Catholics, Protestants don't, as far as I'm aware, go to chapel, and they have there's mass, and then people will go to the priest and they receive communion and have some ashes smeared on their forehead in the shape of a cross to remind them that this is the start of the time, the start of Lent that leads up to Easter. And this is the time when people will choose to give things up for Lent. And again, if you're a Catholic, they will be fasting on certain days of the Lenten time, and traditionally not eating meat on Fridays, eating fish instead. Okay, then Ostersonntag is Easter Sunday, and I really can't remember all the Bible stuff I was taught when I was a kid. I can't remember if that's the day Jesus died. I can't remember. I can't remember if it was Easter Sunday or Easter Monday. I don't know. Either way, you have Ostersonntag and Ostermontag. Karfreitag is Good Friday. Oh, maybe he was crucified on Good Friday and he rose on Easter Sunday or Monday. 1 second, very quick Googling to cheat to check the answers. Eine Sekunde. Yes, according to Google, Jesus died on Good Friday, so Karfreitag. Thereafter, we also have the term Pentecost, which in German is Pfingsten, which, again, using my terrible memory of these kind of things, I believe is the time when weren't the disciples all together and the Holy Spirit came down and gave them all gifts, like spiritual gifts? Oh, ich erinnere mich wirklich nicht mehr daran. Ja, aber ich glaube schon. Ja, Pfingsten ist, ja, also das Heilige Geist, glaube ich. Ich erinnere mich wirklich nicht mehr dran. Dann haben wir auch Christi Himmelfahrt. And unfortunately, the English has been cut off for this because of my technical problems. But the English for Christi Himmelfahrt is Ascension Day. The day when Jesus Christi oder Christus ascended into heaven. Und das ist schon alles für heute. Also ich wünsche euch ein sehr, 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 sehr frohe Ostern. Isst sehr viel Schokolade. Und ja, ich hoffe, dass ihr eine sehr schöne Zeit habt. If you haven't already, please do leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. If you're new, it would be great if we could reach more learners of German and help them on their way. Also dann, ich wünsche euch nochmal einen sehr schönen Ostern und bis zum nächsten Mal. Tschüss, wir sehen uns.